Hello, friends. I um, I just gave you a vlog about my experience with the dead battery in my Volkswagen, and I wanted to let you know that when my husband got out of the Navy, I was, I don't know, 3, 4 months pregnant, and with morning sickness, I was just miserable. Um, But we packed all of our belongings and put him back in the Volkswagen. And as I did before, and I neglected to tell you this, we strapped my ironing board in the back of the car, on the bumper of the back bumper of the car. And we got lots of people driving by and passing us and doing the thumbs up. It was funny because most people that had Volkswagens would put skis either on top of their car on a rack, or they would strap their skis on the bumper in some kind of a holder. But not us, no. We're headed to Colorado with my ironing board. And when we got to Death Valley, it was so hot. I think we were leaving in August. And it was so hot that the car started overheating, and my husband said, we're going to have to dump this ironing board because I need to open up the trunk and air the engine. No, I wasn't about to do that. That was the only ironing board I had, and we were headed to Colorado Springs to go see my parents, who had just moved from our hometown up to Colorado Springs so my father could get more work as a carpenter. And that, we don't have job prospects really. We had an opportunity to maybe drive to Santa Fe, New Mexico, or Taos, New Mexico. I don't remember now which town it was, because a friend had said that their friend was a world famous carver, and he was carving hacienda doors and wanted Gary to be an apprentice. It would have been a great job, but God had other plans. So anyway, when he told me that we were going to have to do that, I had visions of the pioneers coming across the deserts and how they were having to throw out their prized possessions like their pianos or their organs or whatever, their keepsakes and heirlooms that they'd had for many, many years. And these poor women were having to make that sacrifice, but not me. I wasn't about to do it. So he said, well, where are we going to put it? And I said, put it in the front seat and I'll ride it all the way to Colorado. Foolish, foolish me. So that's what he did. And I literally was stiff boarded like this and holding on for dear life. Although it was a straight stretch, there weren't too many mountain roads that we were going over, whatever. So it was a straight stretch, but it was absolutely miserable. But by then my pride took effect, and I wasn't about to say, okay, I give up. Let's go ahead and dump it out in the desert or whatever. And so I rode it all the way to Colorado Springs. By golly, I got that ironing board. And when my husband and I got to the springs, my father said, well, he said, Colorado Springs is really growing. Not like it is now, by the way. But it's really growing. Why don't you go down to the labor union and see if you can make some money before you guys go to New Mexico? So he did. He went to apply, and he didn't come home until after like 4:30. He was like this. He'd been a computer programmer on the USS Niagara Falls when he was in the Navy. So his hands were very soft. He didn't go with a lunch. He didn't go with any gloves, no equipment whatsoever, but they put him to work right away. So we'd been staying with my parents for about 3 or 4 days when we got this job. And then we moved into an all-adult apartment building. And I guess I was 3 months pregnant because when we moved into this apartment complex, we realized that we couldn't stay once the baby was born. But while we were there, we met some neighbors that were he was stationed at Fort Carson. And we grew very close, and he got, out of the Army, and his wife came and knocked on the door. And she said, we can take everything but this ironing board. Would you like to have it? And of course I said, well, sure. It was just so funny because if I had just done what my husband asked me to do, I would have been a lot more comfortable going to Colorado Springs. But, and I wouldn't have had to ride that silly thing all the way. And I think he thought that I would give up and say, okay, you win. I'll gladly get off of this board. But the idea that I wound up with 2 ironing boards instead of 1, and in fact, as a laborer, he didn't have to have iron shirts, because that's what I kept thinking is, okay, I've had to iron your naval uniforms, so I need to have this iron just in case. And he got a blue-collar job and didn't even have to have iron shirts. So anyway, I think that's God's sense of humor, just showing me that my stubbornness is a problem. And that, of course, I didn't know who he was at the time, so I can't say that it was lack of faith. I just did what I thought I needed to do. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this story. I'm still laughing about it. You take care now. And by the way, I still don't iron today. Take care. Bye-bye.